going?
I just went live.
Hey everybody, this is Doc Mack from the Galloping Ghost Arcade out in Brookfield, Illinois. Yesterday's Monday Mystery Game was Reactor, released from Gottlieb in 1982, and we are super happy and honored to have none other than the legendary creator of Q*bert, Jeff Lee, here to play some Reactor.
Yeah, I played this game back in 1982. We played it a lot on the factory floor there, so it's great to have one here in its full glory, and I'll give it my best here. My best as 35 years later.
Well, that is awesome. It's just so great. I've watched a few games of Jeff play already, and he's pretty impressive on it. Like, for it's that stream, the stream jitters.
I've never streamed a game before.
First time Jeff's streaming a game here at the arcade.
That I know of. Unless you got hidden cameras.
So cool to have someone that not only created so many of these great classic games is here actually playing them and enjoying them. And again, we had so many people here yesterday enjoying Reactor, a game that was done by Tim Skelly. We have a few games by Tim Skelly here, Star Castle. And we are happy to have Reactor here as well. Rip off another Tim Skelly game. So it was a rough start. Nothing. A warm-up game.
Popping these guys into the control rods. It must be I think it's David Sounds.
David Thiel doing the sound effects and music for this, and just when we posted in our Facebook group that we had it, so many people were asking, commenting that they hope that the sound is loud so they can hear it all the other games, and we've got it up a bit, so definitely you can hear all of David Thiel's music and sounds that he created for this game. It is so fitting for it. Oh.
Somewhere down I got in my archives, I have a Chicago Tribune article. As the game was in development, Tim had some contacts there in the media, and someone wrote an article about him and developing the game. And it was about all his, all the pressure on him, all his anxiety. Would the game be any good? Him being kind of like a rock star of the game designing world at that time, and that article caused a little bit of maybe envy or jealousy among some of the other programmers at Gottlieb, because Tim was a contract employee, and he had a lot of perks that the other guys didn't have. So anyway, I get a copy of that. You might want to put it up in a frame, or just keep it in the archives here so people can consult it, get some of the kind of the backstory about this game.
That would be really incredible to see that. And again, we always appreciate everything that you do for giving us this inside look to the history to some of these games and the behind-the-scenes story. So it's so great to not only for myself to see it, but to allow other people to have access to that and see it, and very much appreciated.
That's one of the benefits of being a pack rat, you know. Yeah.
Jeff at 85, 88, 89, 17. The current house high in this is 35,000 and some change. Definitely a game of finesse and a different skill type with the trackball controls. It's the trackball here has got it's so precise. Jeff already taking the top 3 scores for today. His best score today so far, 28,744. Cool. Jeff giving it another shot. For those just joining us, we're watching Jeff Lee. Legendary game designer and artist of such games as Q*bert and Mad Planets and Three Stooges, Us versus Them, Krull. So many great games that Jeff has worked on. Playing Reactor. Using the decoys. There it goes.
This game is sure is an example of that. Very abstract, very cool looking. I think it stands the test of time, you know? Considering the hardware limitations we had, yeah, he did a bang-up job here.
We had so many people asking for this game for so long, and we were so happy to be able to restore the cabinet and get it back here in front of people. And it really has stood the test of time. This is definitely one of those games that has a strong following. It is very unique after, like, there is nothing like this really.
Back in the day, and maybe your players want to try that, is drop a decoy in these side rooms, these little chambers, because you get all these bonus points from them bopping around in there. But man, when I got close to it, I was just hitting that and dying. Like, see, like that. Too loose, I lost the ship there. I got so many decoys too.
Just breaking 12,000 points. And 4 decoys coming in on the free ship. There he goes at 15,000. Again, you can get a lot of points by getting them trapped in those side areas, but it's dangerous to try to lure them up there. Oh. Oh. 18,804 points. Great score. It's one of those seemingly every life that you lose. It's always like, oh, that I shouldn't have done that. It's seemingly a simple game, but it requires so much finesse and skill. It is complicated and such a cool game and so unique. Oh, getting him in there early, getting some bonus points. Now the scores are pretty low. Like, we had so many people playing this yesterday when we unveiled it. A lot of people playing it for their first time, and it is a lot of people were not familiar with it that were here, and definitely a steep learning curve.
So, are there other games similar in concept to this that you know of?
There's really nothing like this out there that I know of. Nothing that jumps to mind.
No clones? Many clones or anything?
No, it's like I say, nothing that really comes to mind that's even remotely similar. This was such a standout game, and yeah, I can't even think of anything that is even close.
Our company pinned a lot of hopes on this thing, and it actually didn't really fulfill that, but I mean, that's one story. Tim tells another story that they sold enough of these to, oh, look at that. He claims to jumpstart the rest of our division. I don't think that's really true, but yeah, everyone's got a different point of view on things.
Oh. Oh. One of our regulars, Chris Plackey, yesterday was mentioning how that the level layout, one of the levels was reminiscent of Arena. And yeah, he felt that the main screen shape was reminiscent of one of the levels, and was wondering if that had any influence on Arena's level design.
Very well could have been. You know, you look at it's an outline, kind of like reminiscent of the castle wall. Oh man, on Arena, except there, that's your place of safety. Here it's flipped. It's a deadly place to be.
That's drawing him in with the decoy. It put it up from a couple hundred up over 1,000 there. Oh.
You know, it's pretty satisfying hearing them bounce around in there.
Absolutely. Again, the sound of this game really adds so much to it. It's
David Thiel's masterpiece. You know, I know people like the crazy Kubert sounds, but the rock guitar here that he simulates, the rising phone, the crescendos, those little pops and pings, very gratifying. I mean, if someone does a CD of video game theme songs, this ought to be on there.
tension gets real high when that when it's all the way out and pushing against those walls. You gotta know to just keep calm and oh, just like that, there it is. There goes, adding to his bonus. Oh! His controls are so sensitive. Using those decoys to draw him by the control rods. Clearing out the control rod, the reactor goes down. There it is. Again, for those just joining us, we are watching Jeff Lee play Reactor. Jeff Lee, the creator of such games as Q*bert, and did artwork for games like Mad Planets and Three Stooges, Krull, Us vs. Them, Argus, Arena. Just so many great Gottlieb games. Reactor was our Monday mystery game put out yesterday. One of the most requested games here at the arcade. It was number 596 on the arcade floor on our road to 600. And so thankful and honored to have Jeff Lee out here playing Reactor, which was a Tim Skelly game with music and sound by David Thiel. And Jeff has been sharing a lot of really cool stories with us about his time at Gottlieb and the development of all these games, and just great to have him out here and hear his insight on Reactor. Again, our
Some of these other guys out here, like Sam and Tom, I'm sure they spent a few hours of their lives when they should have been working.
and that being Sam Russo, who was the
It was considered working.
Sam Russo, who was the programmer on Three Stooges, Tom Malinowski, who was the programmer on Argus. We've been fortunate enough to have both them out here, and it's always excellent. They've both been out to our Developer Days events, and be definitely great to have them back out and get their insight again on games that they've worked on and other games from Gottlieb and their time within the industry.
Another guy you got to get out here is Frank Starshack.
Who's that?
Frank Starshack. He was one of our managers. He kind of managed the programmers. I bet he spent a lot of time playing this game too. And he's in the Chicago area.
Oh, that's a time where the center of the core changes. It's no longer safe to touch, making it even more difficult and challenging.
And I forgot about it for some time. Come on to this world.
Pinwheeling, wow, most impressive.
Do I have a decoy?
You do not. No decoys on his last ship. Oh.
Where are the keeper boys?
Such a high tension game. It's playing it. The controls are so, whoa, oh. 27,243, Jeff's second best score of the day. Our top score is 35,000, Jeff right there.
I don't know who that LDE is.
Going at it again. It's an addictive game. Again, if you use those decoys on the side to build up your bonus, one of the keys to going after high scores, but then it is so difficult. Just a tough game in general.
Ah.
Oh. Yeah. So you've got the counter of how many enemies on the left. Oh. Counter on the left. He's got one enemy to go before stage resets. Now he's got 24. As the core expands, you want to knock down the control rods to make it contract back in. You have to not touch the sides of the level. And as the core expands out, it just gets super difficult, especially in the later levels.
Or something like that.
Years ago? The world record for this is 441,000, I believe. I believe it was set many, even decades ago.
Who knows who it is?
I believe the score was set on Twin Galaxies back in the day.
They
Uh,
always kept track of who it was, right?
They do. There is a name on it. I don't know it off the top of my head. But we can check that out and find out who has the world record. That's the one nice thing about, I believe there's only one other arcade in the U.S. that has, maybe two other arcades that has Reactor on their arcade floor. So that's one of the great things of seeing some of these scores that were set back in the 80s. Getting just so many great players out to the arcade. We've seen scores that were set in 1982 fall 30 years later, which is just gives the game new life. And back, I remember when our first world record fell in early 2011 by Matt Rocco on a game called Halley's Comet. It was the game he focused on a lot, and then years later, again, that was a score that stood since 1982 in Halley's Comet. He took it in, I believe, 2011, and then a few years later, everybody got into that game, and there was 6 or 7 people that took that score, and now it's just being played to a level that it's never been played at before. So possibly will Reactor be? Will we see a 500,000 point game one day here at the arcade, or a 1,000,000 game? It's possible that it can happen again now. That at least there's more reactors out there for people to play.
So Halley's Comet is about a comet?
It's a shooter. Halley's Comet makes an appearance in Halley's Comet. It's you're supposed to be. It's a space shooter where you are. It's like a vertical shooter game, like a shmup. So
You're shooting at a comet, or you are the comet?
you are shooting at a comet. Sometimes the comets give you power up.
Yeah, I've been going through my archives and a bunch of old game ideas, and one of the first ones I proposed, never built, was some kind of comet game.
Really?
Yeah. But I've got to look at it. I got storyboard for it. I'm not sure what the gameplay was. Who knows? It might have been something like Nibbler, actually, where you leave a tail behind you and it's different colors. Of course, in Nibbler, you grow the tail, right, as time goes on. I'm not sure about my game, which was never built, so it might have been useless as a game, but
But it never got. It was just concept.
just a concept, just a storyboard. proposal. But I got it in a manila folder somewhere.
Again, so awesome that you've saved. Oh.
There's more guys that way.
And again, the gameplay in Reactor's just so addictive. Like the artwork is simplistic and fitting, but yet so fitting, and it doesn't even matter. Like it's just a fun game, and that's the key thing to it. A game standing the test of time, and this is definitely one that does. We have been seeing so many people on our Facebook very anxious to come out and play it, and that's great. That's what makes some of these arcade games so important to the history of arcade gaming and video gaming in general. So many games coming out now, like they look super realistic, and it's hard to tell the game from real life. And even though they look that good, usually people's interest in them don't stay around that long. After a few months, the game being new, it kind of wears off, and then you don't hear much about them. These arcade games, artistically, there were so many limitations back in the day, but the fact that the games are so addictive to play and fun to play, people travel to play them even after all these years.
Yeah, you have to try to do more with less. Well, we're getting just about filling up the screen here. It's not a theory, but just an observation that, like comic strips, for instance, comic books, you can have great art, but if your story's no good, you know, what do you got? You got some great art. But if you got a great story, it doesn't matter really how bad the art is. I think it's probably the same thing with a good game, you know? The art can be simplistic, but if it's fun, it's engaging, you know, it's better than a great looking game that is boring.
Absolutely. Again, for those just joining us, we are watching Jeff Lee, legendary game designer and creator and artist, created such games as Q*bert and did the art on Mad Planets and so many great games. Argus, Arena, Three Stooges, Us versus Them. Such a long list of just amazing titles that he's worked on back at Gottlieb back in the 80s. And we are watching Jeff Lee play Reactor, which was our Monday mystery game yesterday. Top score set on Monday was 35,000. We are honored to have Jeff Lee here playing this. This was Reactor was created by Tim Skelly, who worked on several great games that we have here at the arcade, including Rip Off and Star Castle. Other games that Tim worked on, like Armor Attack.
Do you have Armor Attack here?
We don't have Armor Attack on the arcade floor yet. I did just pick one up recently. We have it in the vaults and are anxious to put it on the floor.
Before I got in this business, I worked at Triton College, and there was a golf range across the street, and they had a building where you'd go in and get your buckets of balls. They had a few machines in there. Armor Attack was one of the games in there. So I was playing that game before I even knew Tim. A few months later, I was working with Tim. It was pretty awesome.
so amazing to be able to hear about what games that Jeff used to play, and being such a important part of the arcade gaming community. It's one of those or just the creation of arcade games in general. He's made and worked on so many amazing games. Oh, it's great to hear about the games that he enjoyed playing, and even like that, like finding out that he played Armor Attack back in the day. Like that's really awesome to hear.
Yeah, I'd like to see that thing up again. I recall it had like a translucent overlay. It was kind of like the city or whatever that you were working your way through.
That was one of the big reasons we had passed on getting 2 other Armor Attacks over the years, just because either the overlay was missing or the cabinet was in really rough shape. This one, like so many of the other games, this one was one of the best ones I've seen, but was still pretty rough. So we're pretty anxious to get to work on it and restore it. Breaking 20,000. One decoy left. Oh! Still has a ship left. No. Nice. Now the center becomes dangerous. Oh. 26,124. Jeff's third best game of the day. His time score 28,744.
Okay.
That is it.
After I filled up the top there.
Very cool. Thank you.
I say get out here to the ghost. Get yourself your hands on some reactor here, and consider the time well spent.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff Lee, everybody, playing some reactors. So,
This game back.
absolutely.
I'll bring in that article and make copies of it, and send some pictures. You have an address for Tim?
I have him on Facebook, but I don't know if I have his email or not.
I have an email address that probably should work. Get some pictures. We'll send them.
That would be
his
excellent.
wife, okay?
Very cool.
And you'll really appreciate that.
Excellent.
I mean, I hope he can appreciate it.
For sure.
It's
For sure.
The only way you can probably know is thinking to see a picture. So,
Very cool.
all right. Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Jeff Lee, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to Jeff Lee for coming out. And come play Reactor, released from Gottlieb back in 1982. We hope everybody enjoys it and hope everybody enjoyed the stream. And huge thanks to Jeff Lee, a legend in the industry. We hope everybody enjoyed hearing some stories on Reactor. So thanks, everybody. This is Doc Mack from the Galloping Ghost Arcade out in Brookfield, Illinois. We hope to see you around the arcade soon. Thanks, everybody.